Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another discussion video. In today's video, I want to talk about how I would go about fixing yellow for the upcoming Set 14 ban list. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, there are many ways down in the description to do so. But if you're looking for custom sleeves, playmats, any other TCG accessories, definitely check out the link to your playmat down in the description below. You will get 10% off your order. A ton of people have been ordering through your playmat, and they've been super happy with the stuff. I did a deck profile last weekend where I played with the Crossworld sleeves that they made for me, and they're just super high quality. I love them. I know some people made some Future Gohan sleeves for their Future Gohan decks. You can get some really awesome stuff down there. Check out the link in the description, 10% off your order. But anyways, let's get right into the video. So really quick, what I feel like I need to preface this with is just because I'm talking about in this video how to fix yellow, I'm not saying other things in the format don't need adjusting. And the only reason I bring that up is because I got a lot of comments over the past several videos, the how to fix Dark Broly video and the gameplay video where I showed just how ridiculous Mecha Frieza can be to play against. I got a lot of comments in those videos talking about how you know, Mecha doesn't need to be addressed when there's all these other crazy decks in the meta like Dark Broly, like Vegex. And trust me, I definitely think that those are other strategies that need to be adjusted. I did already talk about Dark Broly in a different video this week, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out if you want to see how I would personally adjust Dark Broly going into Set 14. But yeah, basically I'm doing some videos talking about different decks like Mecha Frieza, like Dark Broly, and there are a few others that I feel like do warrant their own videos because there is a lot of discussion that goes into adjusting them. So I did want to preface with that, just because I've gotten a lot of comments saying, well, why are you talking about this strategy to fix when this and this other strategy are super broken? We'll get to the King Piccolos, we'll get to the Vegex. I feel like some of those decks have their own, they're warranted for their own videos. And the second thing I want to preface this with is, even though there's a big Set 14 ban list in the works according to Bandai, I think we're still in a relatively good format in terms of diversity. There still are a lot of decks you can play, and I'm really happy about that. You know, we've had much worse where you can only really play SS3, you can only play Mecha Frieza back in the Set 3 days. You can only play like SS3 Goku back in the Set 4, Set 5 days. So with that in mind, I just want to preface with those two things. Let's get into the bulk of the video. So of course, when we're talking about how to fix yellow, we're talking about Mecha Frieza. Mecha Frieza is the deck that pretty much carries yellow on its back almost by itself. Now, what's really interesting is over the past few weekends, we have actually seen some blue yellow Gotenks top. I think Gohan Icarus is still a good yellow deck, but Mecha Frieza just obviously blows those decks out of the water. The value you're able to accumulate via the reduced or, you know, free cost of extra cards is just way too insane. So I'm gonna just get it out right on the table now. My way to fix yellow is to ban Mecha Frieza. That could have some negative repercussions that we'll talk about in a bit, but I do think it's the best way to go. Now, here's why. And again, it's no surprise that Mecha is the best yellow deck of the format, hands down. I don't really think you can argue that, right? So just going into this slide here, another couple points of contention besides banning Mecha Frieza, one of the biggest ones is banning Universe 9 Assemble. Pay 2 energy, draw 2 cards, and if all of your opponent's energy is in rest mode, you get to play a Universe 9 battle card with a cost of 2 or less, and then shuffle, and it'll probably be a Basil, so you get another draw. So you get a whole ton of value there. And a lot of people have been saying ban Universe 9 Assemble. Now, I can see where you're coming from, especially if you're just not in the ballpark of banning leaders. I do kind of understand that perspective, although I don't agree with it necessarily. If you look at United Assemble, it was a very, very mediocre card before Mecha Frieza came along. I've always liked United Assemble as a legitimately good budget alternative to Saiyan Instinct's Goku. I do like that role that it serves in the Dragon Ball Super card game. Now that Deborah Ritual at hand is kind of a card, we don't really need that, at least as far as going up against hand control is concerned. But if you're playing a yellow or blue yellow or some yellow splash deck and you don't necessarily have access to Saiyan Instinct's Goku, I do like the fact that United Assemble is a good budget alternative. So I would like it to stay in the game for that reason. And again, the only thing that makes Universe 9 Assemble absurdly broken is Mecha Frieza itself. If you guys watched yesterday's gameplay video, I'm basically able to resolve 2 United Assembles on my Awakened side. Even though my opponent's playing in an aggressive deck, I just take the life, go down to 2, my hand goes up to 18 cards while my opponent's hand is severely low, and I'm just playing free battle cards off those U9s. Like, paying 2 versus paying 0 for U9 is what makes the card broken. It's not U9 that is the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, if U9 was to get hit, Mecha Frieza would see a pretty big hit in power. It would obviously draw far less cards than it currently does, but it would still be the hands down best yellow deck because of what it's able to do. Getting the tap off playing an extra card is absurdly powerful. Being able to get that self awaken off the extra cards is really good as well. And another thing that comes with Mecha Frieza being so insane on the backside is Final Spirit Cannon. Taking a look at this card, people saw it in, I think it was Draft Box 4, and the card's just, I don't even want to say mediocre. The card is just bad. But when you combine it with Mecha Frieza, the card is obscenely broken. But again, the common denominator between Final Spirit Cannon and Universe 9 Assemble is Mecha Frieza. That's what you have to kind of keep in mind. Paying 0 to tap your opponent out, which then opens you up to Bergamo and a slew of other things, that is what is absolutely insane about the card. It's not quite Final Spirit Cannon or Uni Assemble itself. It's absolutely the Mecha Frieza leader, the common denominator there. And Vegeta's Final Flash, even in non-Mecha Frieza decks, is still a great yellow card, but Mecha Frieza is the only deck to automatically slam 3 to 4 copies of it in the deck. In other yellow decks, it's a sideboard possibility. It's a main of, like a main 2 of or 1 of at some points, because you just don't always have that free energy to use it in the combo step. But with Mecha Frieza, it's an automatic 4 of, and a lot of people say Mecha Frieza can't combo high. That's not really the case, because Vegeta's Final Flash for 1 or 0 energy allows you to get a 15k combo essentially, and with the times using a life, you're getting another resource to hand, which is probably only going to add to your combo power, right? So between all these cards, the common denominator is definitely the Mecha Frieza leader, which is why I propose to ban the leader. Now, like I mentioned before, there could be some negative repercussions to banning the leader, and we haven't seen the yellow cards that are coming out in set 14 yet, so we don't know the power level of what yellow is looking like in set 14. We've seen blue, and honestly, it's not looking all that strong just from the initial reveals. I haven't done a video yet talking about the blue reveals. We will do that at some point, but I did want to talk about my thoughts on the upcoming ban list because I do have a lot of them. So like I said, negative repercussions. It could be that yellow just falls a bit too far down in power. Now, Sin Shenron is a deck that has definitely been doing somewhat well alongside Mecha Frieza. And it's not that it's like a pure yellow good stuff deck like Mecha is. Sin is its own archetype, and the archetype could be within any color, and it could generally do the same thing, right? Now, Sin Aggro is essentially just a combo deck that happens to be yellow, and Sin Control can maybe get a little bit better, actually, if Mecha is banned and some other things in the format are addressed as well. So Sin Control could definitely step up. But these are actually some yellow decks that I'm looking forward to exploring once Mecha is gone. Now, coming from a competitive standpoint, it's really hard to explore these leaders when Mecha is just obviously the superior leader. Like, you guys know me. I played Gohan Icarus. I love the blue-yellow version of the deck. I actually think the deck gets really, really strong if Mecha does see a ban, so I'm looking forward to that. The Gotenks situation is interesting. I did try blue-yellow Gotenks, and I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that people have been topping with it, because when I was testing Gotenks before I started testing Icarus, the decks didn't draw enough, and you don't always play against a deck that's going to use a lot of extra cards, right? Like, Mecha might be one of your best matchups, Blue Baby might be an okay matchup, but not every other deck in the format is going to, you know, have to use a bunch of extra cards, so you're losing out on some draws there. But regardless, with Mecha getting banned, Gotenks definitely, you know, takes a step up, and Future Gohan, with some of the support that's getting in the Spirit Boost expansion sets, could definitely be a legitimate contender if Mecha and some other things in the format are addressed. So yes, while yellow's power level will probably drop a decent amount with Mecha being banned, if they handle the ban list correctly and the you know, black decks and the red decks, they also see a decrease in power. Blue and green are in a pretty okay spot at the moment, outside of maybe Blue Baby. But if all that stuff's handled correctly, these decks can take a significant step up, and then whatever yellow strategy comes out in set 14 hopefully also has a fighting chance. So all the stuff I talked about today, guys, is pretty much why I just can't see a United Assemble ban. I can't see a ban for anything else in the Mecha deck, like Bergamo. Yeah, Bergamo's a pretty insane card, but again, Mecha being able to tap things for free, as where other colors generally have to pay for that outside of Power of a Super Saiyan, which any yellow deck can play. Mecha can just do it off of any extra card ability for free. So with that in mind, it's a bit more quote-unquote fair in other yellow decks. Bergamo tapping energy might just be too broken of a mechanic in general, but I think Mecha Frieza leader just has to go. Of course, I know a lot of you guys are going to agree and disagree, so let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.